Thanks for tuning in. I'm Tracy Lehman, the Community Outreach Counselor for Nick Finnegan Counseling Center. Today we're going to start off our Back to School series. So we are going to talk over the course of the next few weeks about the different school levels opening back up. I have with us two experts who are going to help me out on this. Today we'll be focusing on preschool. I have James Blackwell, who is our LPC intern at Nick Finnegan Counseling Center, and he is also the middle school counselor at Rob's. And I also have Brittany Gravetti, who is a pre-K teacher at St. Luke's Day School. Welcome, you guys. Thanks for being here. James, do you want to start us off with telling us a little bit about your background?
I'm James Blackwell. I'm an LPC intern. I've been practicing since 2018. I currently work at River Oaks Baptist School as the middle school counselor, and I also work at Nick Finnegan Counseling Center as a therapist. I have a huge passion for a wide range of demographics and ages. I've worked with kids as low as preschool all the way up until high school, so I have a good range of knowledge about all this, and I'm really excited to be able to share some with you guys.
Fantastic. And Brittany, do you want to talk a little bit about yourself and your background?
I am a preschool teacher at St. Luke's Day School, affiliated with St. Luke's United Methodist Church. I've been teaching for 5 years. I have a son, and I'm the oldest of 7. I feel like I've been teaching children my entire life, and it has been my passion ever since I was a child. Always wanted to be a teacher when I grew up.
Fantastic.
So this is it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys both for being here. Brittany actually taught my children, well, one of my children, when she was 3 years old, and she was fantastic with her, very calm demeanor. Yeah, so my baby would be going back to day school, but we ended up deciding to homeschool both our kids. But I'd be interested to hear how the pre-K system is going to be set up this year. What should we be expecting? Because, you know, the pandemic made us end school in the middle of the spring semester, and we're just now getting back and starting up with these new guidelines, with these social distancing guidelines, which I can't imagine helping a 4- and 5-year-old through, but it seems like you guys are going to do it, or have done it already even a little bit. And so, yeah, so just tell me a little bit about what parents and kids can expect going back into this year.
We have had children since June. We started with a smaller summer group, and this allowed us to have each classroom operate as its own school, meaning the classroom doesn't leave the classroom except for its designated walkways to its designated play spaces, outdoor play spaces, and then its internal operations. So as one classroom is heading toward a playground, or we call them outdoor classrooms at St. Luke's, the other classroom that will not share that same portion of the hallway as it's traveling, if that makes sense. As we tried this method and it had success through it, we are now opening our fall classrooms and inviting children for the fall semester and spring. We're operating in phases. And that's just a brief overview, and it has been working. Our children have been happy, engaged, they're learning, and they're spending time with each other, and they're doing what young children can be doing.
Awesome. So they're able to play with each other, they're able to be kind of close to each other just within y'all's kind of pod or class.
They can. Yes, the classrooms can. The children are not wearing masks, we're not socially distancing, and we have not had any children with any symptoms or any illnesses.
Fantastic.
It's been pretty good.
So thank you so much, Brittany, for that information. That sounds really nice. It sounds like a great environment for young children who we know need to be able to play and interact freely. James, can you tell me a little bit about what you've noticed and seen at Rob's as far as preschool returning?
Yeah, so our preschool has been in good shape. What parents can be on the lookout for with their students as they return to preschool is any kind of anxiety or distress, things that you might expect from change. a lot of these kids are adapting to a radically different world that, they haven't faced before. Plexiglass everywhere. Some kids wear masks in between classes, et cetera, et cetera. But the important thing is for parents to remember is that, they are essentially, they set the tone for how the family is going to respond. Like they ultimately are the people who are going to make sure that their children feel calm, their children feel secure. And the biggest thing that parents can be doing, I suppose, in short, is just being, I had a friend refer to it as an emotional thermostat, where the kids are essentially emotional thermometers, where they're just reading the temperature of the room, so to speak. The parents are the ones who can actually set temperature, and it's really crucial for people to remember that as parents, that's a crucial role that you play. So
yeah, so it sounds like parents need to be confident that the school that their children are returning to is able to handle things and just be secure
absolutely
with dropping them off. Yeah, fantastic. Okay. Brittany, have you noticed anything as far as parents or children having anxiety or worry or talking about the pandemic or how this year has been?
Absolutely. It's everywhere. I mean, we're hearing it in the grocery stores. We hear it in conversation with our friends and family. In the media, it's everywhere. And our children are hearing it too. And our children are mirrors, like what James was saying, of what we are, how we feel, and how we express ourselves. And I think that what I've been expressing to my friends and my family who have been suffering is to give ourselves grace, remind ourselves that this is hard for me too. I'm an adult and this is hard. I'm suffering. Hold on a second. Like at the coffee shop, if I'm waiting for my coffee, or if I'm making my order, like if I make a mistake, I'm sorry, hold on a second. And then follow through and allow my child that same grace. My child is struggling, or we're transitioning back into school. And if our children haven't been to school in 8 months, 7 months, 6 months?
Yeah. 6 months in there, I think. 7 months, I think, is about what it's been.
It's a big transition. It's a struggle. I mean, I know when I spent time at home, my energy levels depleted tremendously. And I faced extreme fatigue, as well as my colleagues and peers, upon returning to work. And we can expect this tripled. I mean, times multiplied by 100 in our children. I've definitely seen it, and I anticipate it as well.
James, do you or Brittany, either of you can respond to this. How can parents help prepare their children for returning to school, and how can they help them if anxieties do arise?
Yeah, to kind of piggyback on what Brittany was saying, parents really need to be looking out for themselves in a specific way, in a really radical way. They need to be practicing radical self-compassion in a way that they maybe haven't practiced before. And in doing so, they need to show their children what radical self-compassion looks like. And I think that through doing that, through modeling that, you're going to make kids feel more comfortable, not just about returning to school, but just about life during the pandemic and life in general. This is a teachable moment, as so many are. And if we can really devote ourselves to practicing self-compassion, showing our children that when things are tough, we don't have to succumb to the dark side of things or the deep end or what have you. It's a crucial teachable moment is what I think it is.
Yes, yeah, completely agree. Definitely a time to reevaluate all of our personal expectations, whether it's for ourselves, for our children, for our peers, colleagues, in every facet of our lives. We all need to. And in doing that, it's going to reiterate to our children, and they will respond and follow.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. For those of us out there who need a practical application of this, James, could you give an example of what radical self-compassion, let me say that again.
Radical self-compassion?
Yes. Yes. Can you give me a good example of what radical self-compassion looks like for the people out there that need like practical application examples?
Right, right. So practically speaking, radical self-compassion looks like basically just taking an issue or something that you're kind of facing down and being completely open about, how difficult it is.
To me, an example of radical self-compassion would be kind of laughing during in those moments of, instead of allowing ourselves to feel the panic of like, I can't get it all done, just kind of laughing about it and foreshadowing what's going to come next. So talking about the things they're going to, even like with your child. And we're going to finish this next page of homework, like this next page of workbook page. And then mommy's going to cook dinner. You can help me, or like, just set up the steps for the rest of the evening. And then after dinner, we'll have bath. And then after bath, we'll read a book. And just keep like repeating it.
Yeah. So you're saying
to help yourself and like, because we tend to get a little more emotional when we lose track of what we're doing. And we lose track of what we're doing when we get emotional, and we get emotional when we don't meet our expectations.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great.
Well put.
Yeah. Planning and scheduling and walking through it. That's great. I also think when I think of radical self-compassion, I think of things like when we were going to meet and I had to email y'all and be like, I'm running 10 to 15 minutes late. Like being like in my head, I wanted to be like, what is wrong with you? Why can't you get it together? Why aren't you ready? Why didn't you end your sessions on time and get to the kitchen and start right away? And so that's that beating yourself up thing. And so having self-compassion is like, hey, there's a lot on our plates right now. Like everyone's at home, there's a lot going on. You've had some intense sessions today. Like it's okay. And they understand. And if not, we'll reschedule. We'll figure it out, but it'll be okay. And so that's kind of what I think of, like, it's cool. Like we'll figure it out. I can't beat myself up over it.
It's hard when every day is different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Brittany, you really knocked it out of the park with that definition, by the way. That was really terrific. And I think the fact that you talked about modeling problem solving and just repetition to children is also super important, because having that sense of normalcy. I feel like radical self-compassion also looks like radical transparency at points. Being frustrated and being willing to say, okay, well, I am frustrated. I am, upset, but I'm going to choose to pull out of this and make this like and not to fall too far back on the, this is a teachable moment thing, but it really is. Those moments where you practice radical self-compassion are also moments that are eminently teachable to your children. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Our kids
solace in the facts.
Our kids model themselves after what they see in us. That's how they learn. So that's fantastic.
And we can't show that until we can show it to ourselves.
Absolutely.
We can love ourselves and respect ourselves. We can love and respect others as well.
Yeah. And I want to piggyback off that because I had another thought. I don't know that I prepped y'all for this question, but I'm going to throw it out on y'all. I've heard a lot of, like, this is a different year and teachers are being asked to do a lot of different things, and their planning looks differently and the way they approach things have looked different. And so, and some of them are under a lot of stress. Some of them are worried about illnesses and things like that. And so I'm wondering, A, what have you seen as far as that and stresses at the school, and how can we best support our teachers? Because I think sometimes we get frustrated with situations. And so how do we work as a team with our teachers and recognize where they are and offer each other grace as parents and teachers?
It is all day by day for all of us. We are getting the information just as quickly as you all are, like from a teacher. And with experience of communicating with my son's teachers in his new district, because he's entering kindergarten this year. And as soon as they get the information, they're sending it to us. And often it's hours before the scheduled event or scheduled meeting or test or whatever it is. We are all moment by moment, and just remind ourselves through repetition.
Yeah.
And consistency.
Awesome. And James, have you heard or seen anything as far as kind of piggybacking off Brittany and offering, parents and teachers some advice of how to work together and be supportive of each other through this
Yeah.
new year and this new situation.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think more so than ever, we have to remember that, parents and teachers, students and teachers, they're all on the same team, and we're all working toward the same goal. And the moment that we start to, dissociate the notion that the teacher is simply just a person that, is taking care of my child, from the fact that, no, this is in fact a person that, has a rich interior life and is doing, this out of the love, both for, your child and, the profession. There's just so much to take in.
But I think what you're saying, James, is perfect in the sense that, like, teachers and parents, while teachers are not parents or your child's parents, we are your child's teachers. And there's a bridge here. And the same thing that's like what's happening in the classroom is happening in the home as well. And it's best for us all to communicate. If there's something going on, let us know. We're here to help. We're here to walk through those difficult times. If there's tough transitions at home, let us know what's going on, and we can offer insight and help on how to correct these issues or concerns.
I think that's great. Yeah. Talking to teachers, like, communication, I think, is so key in this. And just recognizing each other's role. Like, you as a parent know your child really well, like the best. And so you're going to have some awesome insight to offer your teachers, but while also recognizing that the teachers have experience doing this or background in education doing this. And so they're going to have something to offer as well. And if you can both be understanding and recognize the value each of you is bringing to the table, I think you can have some really healthy communication that works well and is supportive to both of you throughout the year.
You touched on like everything that I was going to touch on. So that was like impressive. You finished my thoughts. So thank you.
Sure, no problem. Okay, I think that pretty much covers returning to school. Is there anything you guys want to add? Anything I didn't ask about that you think is important, or do you have a final thought for parents as we approach this strange new year?
It's okay if it all does not get done. We will be okay. Our children will be okay. Everything is going to be okay.
Love that. Fantastic sentiment. And James, do you have any final thoughts for our parents of preschoolers?
Not to harp too much on something I've already said, but just I can't emphasize enough radical self-compassion and showing that to your children.
Right.
That's going to be so huge right now. This is, for how terrible a situation it is, this could really be an opportunity for your children to see you in a new and, restorative light. And I feel like that's a really exciting opportunity. So
restorative. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting year, but I think we can all grow, and recognizing as a parent that the preschool age is already a really difficult age. Children are trying to recognize their limitations. They're trying to understand their emotions and what to do when emotions occur. And they're trying to navigate all these scary, confusing things that they don't necessarily have control over. And so it is a struggle already, without adding the extra stress of these new changes of this pandemic and this new system that they've never before experienced. And so it is so important to recognize that this is a hard time, parents and teachers, and that we're all in this together. And the more we can support each other and love ourselves and each other, the better it's going to be, I think, is kind of a summary of what we have said today. Thank you so much, James and Brittany, for being here. I really appreciate it. And I hope this was helpful to you all. And if you have any follow-up questions, you're welcome to comment below or give us an email at info@finnegancounseling.org, and we will get back to you. So thank you guys so much.